and we'll get back to marketing, but when do you do, I assume your research is not part of that hour of writing?
So a good amount of research went into Crushing the Red Flowers. It's a historical fiction novel. And no, that's a great question. And that was really a separate undertaking. If you asked me this, a few years ago before I had the book deal, I wasn't doing much. I wasn't giving much time to marketing initiatives, but I was giving a lot of time to research. And I can go into that now if you'd like, or.
It's our conversation. We can go anywhere you want.
Okay. So if you're not familiar with my book, Crushing the Red Flowers, it's an upper middle grade historical novel. And it is really about two ordinary boys in 1938 Germany dealing with the extraordinary circumstances of Kristallnacht. I use two main characters, a German Jewish boy named Emil and a German boy named Friedrich, who's in the Hitler Youth. Actually, the Hitler Jungvolk, which is the younger version of the Hitler Youth. And I wrote this book because my heritage is half German and half German Jewish. So I grew up with a lot of fascinating stories about this time period. All of my family, up until 1938, both sides of my family were in Germany. So they lived through this time. So I think my novel really started from just a basic, hearing lots of these rich, wonderful, nuanced stories from my family. That was the springboard of my research. Once I decided to actually commit and write the novel, I conducted formal interviews. I was fortunate enough at the time, I still had 4 members of my family who were still with us, who lived through this time period. So that was a springboard. And then beyond that, even just at a basic level, I just started to read everything. I read adult fiction, juvenile fiction about this time period, academic articles, nonfiction. I watched a lot of movies so I can understand the mood and the style. And then that laid the foundation for me. And then pretty early on, I really became committed to making the book as historically accurate as possible. And so I had phoned Patricia Herber-Rice. She's with the Holocaust Memorial Museum, and she had advised me on a few very specific historical questions. And she actually offered or connected me with Myrna Goldenberg with Montgomery College, who was able to, read the manuscript and really vet it for historical accuracy. So, but beyond that, I had many questions. I'll try not to give away any spoilers. But so, for instance, a lot of the novel takes place around a river, the Leine River, running through Hanover. And I needed to know what kind of fish species were in that river. I needed to confirm the fish species. So, I went off and I, did my research into that. Early on in the scene, I wanted to describe the wallpaper in one of the characters' rooms. I had no idea what the wallpaper looked like. I asked my family. They couldn't remember what their wallpaper looked like. So I hopped on the train to New York, and I went to the New York Public Library picture collection, and I just browsed through everything I could about that time period in Germany, just to get an understanding of what kind of wallpaper was common in houses at that time. So every little research question I had sent me on a tangent, and it was a good amount of time.
So, devil's advocate question that I'm asking, because I'm horrified to hear myself ask it, but I know folks listening might be thinking it. If you're writing your novel, the story is gripping, you've got the broad strokes all correct, everything lines up with history, but you're wrong about the fish in the river, or you're wrong about the wallpaper. Does that create an irreconcilable issue for the reader? Is the novel that much poor, or is it just simply that satisfaction that you know the fish were the wrong kind of fish?
Okay, that's a bigger question. I can speak for my novel, but that's quite a broad question that people...
No, I want you to speak for all authors everywhere of all time. No, just for you, just for Crushing the Red Flowers.
So for me, I felt as though I was covering a very, very important topic. Kristallnacht really hasn't been covered that much in middle grade literature, and I wanted to get it right. I really wanted to get it right for the children. I didn't want to give them something not factually accurate. So I did the best I could. Hopefully, hopefully I accomplished this goal. I think if you're presenting a historical novel to children and you present it as accurate, you should go the extra mile. If you present it as, this is sort of tongue in cheek, or there may be some wiggle room, I think that's fine as well. But I do think, as tempting as it is, as a writer, you become exhausted at times. You become exhausted emotionally with your craft, with the topic. And, you want everything to be wonderful and you want to be done. And it's tempting, I can imagine, to not want to take that extra step and spend the entire day at the New York Public Library picture collection looking for pictures of wallpaper. But for me, this was just something important. And if I find it important, I won't cut corners.
Excellent. That is, I don't know what they call that, a gauntlet, where somebody asks you a question that has a little bit of a trap in there. You sailed right through it. I 100% believe your enthusiasm. So